If you haven't filed a tax return in 5, 10, maybe even 20 or more years, your first instinct might be to file every single one of those tax returns. Before you do that, stop, because in many cases, the IRS only requires you to file the last 6 years. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you why that is, when you may need to file more than 6 years, and why filing those older years can create even more problems and a bigger tax debt for you. Hi, I'm Bob Jablonski. I'm an enrolled agent and certified tax resolution specialist. I help taxpayers nationwide deal with their IRS problems, including dealing with unpaid taxes as well as unfiled taxes. So, as a general policy, the IRS is only going to require the last 6 years of tax returns to be filed. They issued a policy statement 5-133, and that policy statement is also referenced in the Internal Revenue Manual guidelines to employees as to how to deal with taxpayers. That means if it's 2026, that the years 2020 through 2025 are going to be required to be filed. And that's kind of important because once those 6 years are filed, in most cases, you're going to be able to enter into any kind of payment plan, get into currently not collectible status, even file an offer in compromise if you qualify for one, and deal with any enforcement actions, levies that the IRS may have on you. Keep that in mind. On the other hand, if you haven't filed those last 6 years, you're not going to be able to get into a payment plan. Compliance is critical with the IRS. One of the things to keep in mind that this is a policy statement. It's not law. So the IRS can require you to file more than 6 years. And in most cases, when they will, those are cases of fraud, or perhaps in cases when they believe that there's a really large amount that will be due to them if the taxpayer files those returns. In the years I've practiced, I've never seen them require more than 6 years of return. So it's not common, but it does happen. So just kind of keep that in mind. Also, in addition to that, they need to get managerial approval to do so. So like I said, it's not common, but it is possible. So like I said, you might not want to go back for certain reasons because not only aren't they going to give you an extra bonus for doing so, an extra attaboy, thank you for that, attaboy or attagirl, it can get you in more trouble. I've had taxpayers come to me, they've gone to a tax preparer, they filed the last 10, 12 years, and they owe for those years. And here's the thing, even though policy statement 5-133 states that, it doesn't mean that you can go back to the IRS and say, oops, I didn't mean that, reverse those tax returns, and I don't owe that tax debt. You have that tax liability once you file them. So be very careful. In addition, if you did it for a refund, you're not going to get a refund if it's for a return more than 3 years ago. So there is not that benefit. And that tax return has an assessment statute expiration date, which means the IRS can audit that return for the next 3 years. So there's multiple reasons why you really don't want to do that if you don't have to. So when should you do it? So one case might be if you have a lot. I've had someone come to me recently. They filed a return before the last 6 years. The reason was they had a large dollar amount of net operating losses that they were able to carry forward. And in their case, they felt that the benefit of filing that year and getting those net operating loss carry forwards is greater than the risk of doing so. So in their case, they didn't owe any more taxes. They had a benefit of a net operating loss carry forward. So this is something that obviously requires a lot of strategy. And the more dollar amount your income and tax liability, the bigger the risk. If you owe $300 a year and you have filed those returns, it's probably not a game changer. But if you owed $50,000 a year and an extra 6 years were filed, you now owe $300,000 plus penalties and interest on all of those. So it is a really, really big deal. The more you owe, the more strategy matters. So if you're someone who has multiple years of unfiled returns and you're not sure of a strategy, I do offer a free consultation to taxpayers who owe more than $25,000 to the IRS or who have multiple unfiled years. I'm going to leave my booking link in the description below as well as a pinned comment. So reach out to me if that's something you need help with. Before you go, If you like this video, you find it helpful, please like it so others can watch it. Please subscribe to our channel so you can learn more about IRS problems, and leave any comments below you may have on your unfiled returns, questions you have, or on topics that you'd like to see me cover.